Well, I'd like to share with you kind of an interesting email I received that relates directly to job search, hiring process. You never know who's going to show up, and really at a grand scale that takes me back quite a long time. I received this email. He included a picture that's very old. I'm talking probably the 1990s or maybe the late 1980s. But anyway, he's making a joke saying, I'm up the Mahakam. The Mahakam was a river in East Kalimantan, which is in Borneo, which is half the island of Borneo, which is in Indonesia, where I worked for the individual who sent me this email, who owned a consulting firm. And he found this photo. The, the story is that he asked me and another individual, an Australian who was on the same contract, to go up with him overnight on a riverboat to go to this place, which was some museum. And the riverboat trip brought back memories because you had to look at logs coming down the river and the captain of the boat guiding themselves around the logs. But here's how it relates. The individual who sent me this photo had hired me to go to work in Indonesia for his company. How did we know one another? I had worked for him, with him, at a previous job in Bangkok, Thailand. And he thought I could do the job. He talked to me, blah, blah, blah. I got hired. Here is a clear example of individuals knowing a position is open before they announce it and simply going to someone and saying, are you interested? And they saying yes. The same thing that happened to me in Berlin a long time ago when a position opened. Somebody thought I could do it for whatever reason. He offered it to me. I accepted. And then he closed the opening within 24 hours because he didn't want anybody else to do the job. To make this more interesting, this individual's brother was in this a different oil company, and he offered me a position to work for him in Jakarta, and I accepted. So you just, and then ultimately, I had to tell him I was leaving to go to another position, which was as a foreign service officer in the State Department. I excused myself from a business dinner, went up, took the telephone call, accepted the position, and then went down and told him at that dinner. So this personal example demonstrates quite a bit of what we're covering in this course. And as an aside, I bought these. They're in the garage because they are spirits of the dead, and they're not exactly welcome now in my home. They were delivered by accident. They were supposed to be shipped by sea. There was an error, and the individual that works for the friend that mailed me this sent them by air freight, which cost a fortune. They arrived in a box that looked like a black wooden coffin, and we kept it for years for Halloween.